Alrighty, two. All right, guys, we're back. I just streamed like 12 minutes before this, and I had the mic muted the whole time to make sure it's like, okay, it's unmuted. So to quickly summarize what we're doing here, I'm basically taking Southern Shadi released a cool little video about this exploding particle thing. You should check it out. And he has this asset pat, and he uses this plastic material on it. And I think the plastic material is really cool. So what I want to do is convert that plastic material to Octane so I can use it in my projects. So that's what I'm doing here. Let's jump back into it. Okay, so this is what I've got going on here. If I quickly show you, this is the material node setup that Southern Shadi has built for his Cycles plastic material. I'm going to convert this material into Octane because we can't just convert it one-to-one because of these other nodes here are going to kind of make it kind of get weird. But this is a very basic, simple setup to really use as a practice to convert Octane materials into Cycles material. So I took a screenshot of it, and I've gotten it on one side of the screen here, and on this side here is my Octane material that I'm going to build to replicate the one that he built in Cycles. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because he has a bunch of PBR materials that he's using as his base. So I've already imported those into my scene, so I actually have all those same material maps. So it should work really easy. So that's to quickly summarize you where I'm at. And if we quickly jump out of this, and I've got this plastic material here, which I'm going to use as the base to get this whole thing set up. Okay, so I hope that works out now and we are okay to go. And I've got this plastic material okay, here, that's working out good as the base to get this whole thing set up. Okay. So I hope that. Alrighty, I checked it. It's working. We are live. Good. So here's the base. Now let's. I'm in my Octane scene. Good. Back on track. Phew. I'm gonna kill this. I'm gonna switch back over to the image editor, and we're working on this top section here. We're working on this top section. We got the principal BFD, and I've got my universal, which is my version of it. He's got a multiply node. He's got a color mix node here, but he's got it in multiply. So I've got a multiply texture node, and then he's running that from the texture, and then he's taking A, and A is going into the group node, and it's set to color. So what I've done on my end, I've got mine running from number 1 down into my group node into color. So technically we should be set at the same. So let's quickly. And I've got the material that he's got there. Now let's get to our next one. Our next one here, he's coming from the roughness into a hue saturation node. Okay, hue saturation node. And I think for me, what I'm going to do, that will be a color correction node. And if you look at our color correction node, I have brightness, invert, hue, saturation, gamma, contrast, gain, exposure, and mask. Okay, so it's a little bit more than what we've got in the Cycles. So he's taking the color into the roughness. I'm going to go this into the roughness. I'm going to change this to GGX, energy preserve, because I think also this node is set to GGX. And then he's taking out the value. So for me, I think we might want to play with gamma. Okay, we'll figure that out. We're gonna have to figure that out. But the end of the color. So for me, let's go ahead and gray. I'm using a grayscale image node instead of color because it saves on memory, because all of these maps are, except for this one here, this one has color, the normals. But these two here are black and white values, so we can save memory on our GPU by using these grayscale images. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this one in for the roughness. I'm going to plug this into the input, which like he's done here. And then he's going value out, and he's bringing that all the way here to roughness. So for value out, what am I going to use? Let's just do gamma first. I'm going to use gamma. And plug that into here. And then again on here, that is a grayscale type image. You know what? I think we might want to use brightness. Let's try brightness instead. Hang on. Let's do a brightness instead. And let's cut this. Bring back in here. And matter of fact, let me just, because it remembers the color socket, right? I'm going to pull that out. And I'm going to repeat this one more time here. Give me a little bit more space. Let's go brightness into there. And then he calls that roughness. So I'm going to also do the same thing. See, I can change it. It might be a float value vector color. We're just going to leave it for now. And I'm just going to change this to roughness. Okay. So next from here, oh, what is that? Oh, my thing. Octane group. Okay. Next we need to do is our normal. Okay, this should be a very easy one here. Our normal, and what I'm gonna do, I need an RGB now because we have color. RGB image. Take this RGB image, drag this over here, and we want that into the normal. And again, my value set to 1. Actually, these grayscale, we leave those are fine. And I'm gonna go ahead and select the normal. Good. Now he's got the normal, which you guys have this normal. We don't need that in Octane. And he's basically taking the strength of that. For me, that will be power. And he's plugging that power into another socket. Plug that into there. And then, okay, the next one here is just mapping coordinates. Okay. So for coordinates, what I think I'm going to do is just use a UV transform. Bring that UV transform up to here and click on this UV transform and UV transform. So I've got those UV transforms plugged into it, which he's got as a technical coordinate. And then here on the scale, he's got this add node. He's adding this value. Okay, so I think I might need to use, okay, I can do that still. Let's take this. He's got an add node. I'm going to come in here and go, I think it's a math binary operation for me. Yeah, math binary, I think, is the one. And let me check the other one. Hang on. Math unary. I think it might be this one. We'll figure it out. This is why we're doing this. Got to fail to succeed, right? And he's taking that. Oh, you know what? This one's not going to work. Oh, actually, maybe it does work in there. Okay. And this is in add mode. This one here is absolute value. No, this is a different node. This is not the one we want. Let me make sure there's no add function in here. Yeah, no, there's no add function in this. So let's delete this one. So it is maybe the binary math node here. Take that, transform that scale there. And that's set to add with the value. And then let's go ahead and take value. Which one would it be? Let's just try this one and then plug that into there. And then he's got that as the scale. And then this power was roughness. This was bump. All right. Now I know it's not going to work on the first try because most things in life never work on the first try, right? Especially when you're doing something new. Okay, now let's see. And then what does he do for the color? Hang on, color. Oh, base color. Albedo. Okay, I have that in the base color. But yeah, I already see, I think I'm already seeing some issues we're gonna have. Let me jump out of this here. Oh, well, no, there's our color there. Okay, so far that's looking promising. It's looking promising. Now let's jump back over here. 3D viewport. Hide this guy here. Come in here. Render region. Quickly save. And moment of truth, render. Okay. Color. And it's not definitely already working. Well, that didn't work. Actually, hang on. Let me make sure I have the... We have the right material on there? Yes, we do. Okay. How about roughness? Nope. How about bump? The scale? Okay, nothing's working. So, this is where we get down. What's my time? Still gotta go to work today. Okay, so one thing first, let's come back to this color here. And let's maybe switch these. Boom. Okay, that's promising. Like I said here, we're gonna probably have to really mess around with things. Okay, so the color's working. Roughness. Now I know I can get this roughness to work because I've built a roughness generator before and I got it to work. So I might have to go backtrack and figure out what I did on that. So this guy works. Let me minimize this just so I can, and this guy works here. Now again, this mix here that we're doing, this multiply here, let me see what this is looking like. First of all, let's see what this material does. Okay, so it's just like, it looks like nothing to me. Let me set my gammas to 1 first. Maybe that might be. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything on this map. You know one thing? Let's check something here. I want to see what this map is doing. Or this diffuse map, what it actually looks like. So I can try to make sure that we're getting it to look like what it should be. Okay, first of all, it's gray. Okay, this is what we're looking at. This is what it should look like. So already thinking we might need to invert it, or then we might need to do some clamping on it with the gradient map. Okay, so let's jump back over to Octane here. And this looks nothing like what it's supposed to. Yes, how about inverting it? Okay, that's promising. Now let's come here and go to a gradient map. Drop a gradient map on that. Come back here, preview it through the gradient map. I'm not really seeing a difference there. Let's crunch these values down a little bit. Oh, this is plugged into the wrong slot. There we go, texture. That was not going to help either. And still not looking like I'm seeing anything like what we were seeing in the photo, right? Let me set this back to 2.2. No, I don't like it at 2.2. Well, hang on, let's first climb some values here. Okay, one other thing, let's check my projection. Let's go ahead and take and add in a X, Y, Z projection, which basically kind of like a flat projection. And oh, there we go. Now we're seeing something. There we go. Now we're seeing something. Okay, now let me set my value back to 1. Hang on. Nope, that's just stayed 2.2. So if we open this back up a little bit, ooh, that's still way too much, right? Hang on, let's see if we invert it again. Nope. It's like very subtle in the actual image. Let me pop open that image again and see what it looks like. Yeah, it's very subtle. Okay, that's looking really close to what we're at now. That's looking close. Okay, good. So now let's set this back to normal. And let's let my little 1050 Ti gather its being. Let me reset this. Okay, now I can see it. Now look, we can see it inside there. Okay, that's good. So this is all working. Let me minimize this. This is working. This is working. And this is working. So that's one thing that's done and out of the way. So what I'm also going to do, let's kill this while my viewport is lagging. I'm going to go ahead and connect this UV projection up to everything. Projection. And projection. Okay, let's close this up because we're done with that. Now the roughness is not working. So again, I was kind of concerned about this being in the gamma and whatnot. So there's our input, and then it's in the brightness right now. And let's go see what this roughness map looks like. That's what we need to get it to look like. Okay, so let's jump back over to Octane. And now we want to solo this guy here. Oh, you know what? Sorry guys. I just realized my messaging is not coming through. Because I just looked on my phone and we got MDKN in the house. And I didn't even see your messages, yo. Hang on, let me quickly make sure that... Oh, there it is. Okay, I see. I don't know why it's not updating in my... Let's see here. Hi. Yeah, for some reason, my little plugin thing is not actually updating. Okay, I'll just have to keep the other YouTube chat here popped open. What's up? Hi. Good. At least I know somebody's there. I know you're there. It wasn't showing up on my end. Hang on here. Okay, let's get back to work. Yeah, and I don't know why I have this thing set up now that it, like, whenever somebody would chime in on the text, they ping pong, because my monitors, I have split monitors and my second monitor is above me, and like I don't realize sometimes when people pop in the chat. And I set this thing up here so it would ring, so I would know somebody's in the chat. Hang on, let's go ahead and kill that for 1 second. And let's figure that out really quickly. Let me close that. Come back into here. And let me quickly just reopen. And as you heard from the vocals in the back, yes, I do live in Japan. So every time all my YouTube ads are in Japanese. And edit video. YouTube Studio. Live stream. Where's the chat window? Okay, chat window. There it is. And YouTube Studio. Pop out chat. Live stream. And my chat pop is popped out. Okay, and make sure this is on and activate YouTube Studio. Play. Pop out chat. Okay, so we'll see. Now back to work. Time check for me, 12:30. Okay, I got a couple, about 30-40 more minutes. Okay, there's our thing. What's it looking like? Yeah, they're looking close. Looks like we probably could also make some adjustments on this with a gradient map. Plug that gradient map into here. Make sure it's plugged into the input. So we'll see. And time check for me, 12. Also, okay, I'm gonna just crunch the white values just a little bit.
MDKN says,
what's it looking like?
Check.
Yeah, they're looking close. Looks like we probably could also make some adjustments on this with a gradient map. Plug that gradient map into here. There it is. I see you popped in. Check. So we'll see. All right, there it is. Now it's working. Check. All right, good job. Also, but now I need to crunch the white values just a little bit. Go ahead and I think you're hearing my YouTube thing in the background, right? Cancel that. Okay. Yeah, you were probably hearing that YouTube video in the background. The problems of going live. Gotta love it. Okay, so I crunched these values a little bit here to bring out this values on this. And then what I think I need to do is I think we might be in...
DKN says, Patrick, you have subtle echoing sound of yourself.
Subtle echoing of myself. Oh, you know why? Let's get the headphones back on. Okay, so hopefully this will work now. Headphones should be back on, and you probably shouldn't be hearing it. How about now? Mic 1, check 2. Am I echoing? MDKN
says, now it's okay.
All right, thank you. Good. Now let's get back to work. Previewing this. What are we looking at? We're crunching the values on this. Okay, there we go. We're crunching the values on this. Again, the projection is a little bit off right now, but that's the least of my worries at the moment. Now, let's see what this is looking like coming through the color ramp, through the color correction. Okay, wow. It's pretty big coming through the color correction, so I might want to ease off of this. Does that even make a difference? Yeah, it does. It makes a difference, huh? Okay, that's like that. And then I have this plugged into the brightness, and then I'm running the brightness out into this. So let's reset this and let's jump out. Okay, I can still see that value in there. Let's jump out, press tab, and roughness. I'm not seeing anything on the roughness. I definitely think, I feel like I see something on the bump, huh? Does that look like we have bump there? No. I'm just gonna set that to 0. Set this back to 0. Okay. So now, okay, well, I wonder if do we even need this color. Let's take this brightness and let's bring this into gamma. Let's jump out. No, I'm not seeing any difference. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do what I did in my roughness generator. I'm just going to bypass this thing for a moment here. Well, hang on, because we need to send out the value. Hang on. So we got that. I've got this plugged in. And the reason why I think he's doing this is so we can have a value to connect. So if because right now, well, first of all, let's just, I'm not even seeing any roughness happening right now at all. All right, let me just pipe this straight into this. And this other grayscale image was set to 2.2. Yes, it's set to 2.2. And we do have the projection connected to it. Yes, we do. And we have this connected to it. And again, let me make sure this is the correct map. Yes, we're using the roughness map. Okay, that's good. Now, do I need to invert this? No, because black value, black is shiny. Okay, and then let's pipe this back into here. And let's preview this. Okay, so it's fairly dark. Let's do something like that. Now let's review this. And I need to turn on my text so I can know when it's loading. Image texture. To me, I feel like I just can't see any of the roughness. Okay, there it is. I just need to crank it up. Okay, boom. So now we know that the map is working. So we know that it's our connection is the issue and how we're connecting it here. So for now, can I take, what value could I take out? What if I just take my power? Because technically this is just controlling the power. If I go like this to 0, it should basically have no effect. Okay, so let's take this power slider and let's connect that into the roughness instead. Let's cut this other connection. Now let's tab back and let's reset this, turn this off. Sometimes you need to do that with Octane. You need to turn it off and let it kind of just redo itself, I guess. Yeah, retarget itself. Target evaluation. Waiting for image. And again, Octane is normally not this slow, but I'm screen recording and I've got I'm doing a lot of stuff on my laptop at once, so it's really struggling. All right, now if we crank this up, okay, if we crank this down, boom. All right, now we got control of our roughness. Now the values are very sensitive, so like we can kind of cap this. What if we go like, what is this, 0.5? Let's go to 1. Okay, 1 looks pretty good. So again, if we jump back in here, go tab, and if we come down here to our roughness, here is our roughness value. And if I switch it to, I think maybe float, I can set my minimum. So we'll go minimum 0. Let's go maximum 2. Okay, and then let's jump back. And we got 0. Now if we go 1. Now if we go 2. Okay, and now you see it won't go past 2. I'm sliding it. That's the most. We bring it down. There it is. Okay, that's working. Check. Now let's jump back in. So since that's working, I'm gonna minimize. See, that worked out easier than it did from cycles. Like we needed less nodes to work to get that to work. I'm gonna minimize this because that's complete. I like this where it's at. That's complete. And next is just our, we don't need this color correct, but you probably can still figure out there's a way. I know there's a way because I've watched somebody in our community. He builds some really complex textures and he uses the color correction node quite often. And I probably could have used a mixed texture node there, a composite texture node to do what I just did, but whatever. Now the bump, the normal. Let's first of all make sure we're okay. Normal 1.1 gamma, that's correct. We have the gamma map inside there. It's on, and I feel like I don't see nothing. And you know what? Did I plug the wrong thing in? How come that's plugged into power? No, that's right. Okay, good. All right, there it is. Now we can see the normals working. I can see a little bit of specs happening. Now to control the normals, again, we can just repeat the same thing we just did. Is it technically correct? I don't know, but it works. So that's all I know. And I'm not like making these things to sell. I'm just making them for my work, right? So let's plug that into the bump. Jump back out. Bump is set to 0. Bump is set to 1. Boom, there it is. And let's add a little bit of roughness in there. Add a 1. And there's the roughness. Nice. Okay, that's good. Let's jump back in. Now, the next thing I think is the scale. Let's go ahead and minimize that because that is complete. Now, we got all of this madness, which is actually controlled chaos. This is all being controlled into this one node here. And then this is where I think I might have the math wrong. And this is where I do know, I've seen in a past tutorial in my group, how to do this. So here is our projection that everybody's connected to. Now, this, I think we should be multiplying this by 1. If my memory, let's go back to scale. Scale this up. Yeah, nothing's happening. Okay, so what I do know is we've done this before. I've done this type of math before. Now I can't remember if it was this node and we multiply it by 1. So what I'm going to do is stop this render and thank the Octane gods that I have this massive database that I'm building in my community that I'm able to just quickly jump in and find out exactly how I did that. And that's the benefit of building a database. And that's one thing that we're all here in our community group. We're all striving to build this community to help us use Blender Octane. Okay, so it was a material, and it was the matte material here. And matter of fact, hang on. I want to see the process. So let me go down to Alex, because he's a monster in Octane. Like he just does such cool stuff. And here it is, grid texture material. And if anybody's still out there, you can definitely go to his YouTube channel, and he makes videos and he makes them for our community, so you guys can also watch them too.
I'm going to tell you how.
But what I'm going to do is skip to where he does this multiplying action with the math node.
Use in the group node.
So he builds this whole grid texture
Therefore,
procedurally.
we will create a similar node that has such an opportunity. Scale with one slider of the group node.
Right. He wants to scale the whole thing with one slider and scroll and all this. So see, this is similar to what we're doing right now.
Let's check how it works. Everything is fine. Values for adjustment.
Let me see here.
Let's see how you can use this procedural texture on a specific this procedural. I will add a third layer in a procedural mesh texture example. Let's check how it works. Connect here the ability to change. In the same way, we will connect here the ability to change the length.
Oh, there it's this node right here, binary. Let's back up just a little bit more.
Possible to adjust. Now it is possible to adjust the grid scale with the input.
A float manager.
Connect the desired value to the corresponding fields that has such an opportunity. Slots. Necessary parameters to change the values in the group node. Now it is possible to.
That's the whole structure right there. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So he's got this, he's piping the scale out to a binary math operation. Binary math operation. Not this. Here, let's delete this. I want to go to a binary binary math operation, right? Then we take the scale, pipe that into there. This binary map operation is set to add, but what do we set it at? We set it to
now scaling occurs proportionally in both a large.
He puts the value of whatever your default value that you want, and he sets it to multiply, then connects it back to the A. Okay, so the bottom is the base number, then multiplies. Okay, let's see here. So the bottom is multiplied. This I want to multiply by 1, and then this will come out into scale, I hope. Now let's tab out. Fire up the render. Okay, we're in the minus. Let's set that to 0. Okay, I'm not seeing anything there, but let's do this. Let me come back to this scale node section here, delete that, and hang on. Our original scale here was set to 1. That's 1. That's 1. We want this to be 1. We're multiplying it. Yes, multiply. Take A, and let's drag this into a new slot. Now this slot A should be set to, I think, vector. First of all, let me just see what it does right now. Okay, I think that's totally different than what we have. See, that's why it's important to delete those old, like the old one. Like now it has 3 because it's reading here. It has 3, right? Now it's reading it as 3s, and it didn't do that before. So that's why it's important to delete those. And let me reset this really quick. So now, if we scale this up, bada bing, I can see it happening. Yep. Okay, now look, there it is. Now we're scaling it up. Okay, but we can reduce this to 1 slider by changing, hang on, I think he does it in the video. We can change that node to a different node, to I think like a float value node.
Proportionally in both a large cell and a small cell. For the convenience of using this node tree, we will add all nodes to one common group. To do this, it is possible to connect the necessary parameters to change the values in the group node. There are no corresponding slots. Therefore, we will create a similar node that has such an opportunity.
Float manager node.
Copy the value and paste the corresponding fields.
Okay, float value node.
Connect the desired value to the input. Now it is possible to adjust the grid.
Okay, float value node. And whoops. Let's go float. A float value. No. What was I totally, hang on. Let me just turn this render off. They totally killing my viewport right now. Thank you. What was that?
It is possible to adjust
Oh,
the
float
grid scale.
manager node. That was a float manager node, not a float value. Float manager. Okay, and then everything is 1 for us. So I think we just set this bottom one to 1. And take that, plug that, nope, actually. Plug that into there. And then plug this into, hang on, let's delete this one again. And then plug this one into there and plug this one into there. Now let's see what happens. Okay, now we have 1 slider. And bada bing, bada boom. 1, 2, 3. Oh, what did I say? Easy peasy. 1, 2, 3 Z. 1, 2, 3 Z. Easy peasy. Whatever. There it is. It's working. Sweet. Damn it, dude. That is cool. That is basically it, guys. We just rebuilt the Southern Shoddy plastic material like that. Dope. So, you know what? I don't know if I technically can give this away because it's technically, you know what? Hang on. Well, you know what? I cannot. I don't think I should be able to because I'm using Southern Shoddy's image maps in the background. So what I need to do is I'll swap out his image maps with my image maps, and then I can give this away. That will be what I'm going to work on, and I'll put this in the Gumroad. It'll be available in the Gumroad. So hang on. let's tidy it up. Let's tidy it up. We come back here, and then this one was set. Hang on, let me kill my render here. Turn that off. And let's come back to X. Double click on X. Let's scale. There we go. So save that. And then what I can do, jump out of that, come over here, and we'll just call this dirty plastic. Oh wow. Hang on here. Where's the label? Label, group, label. What am I doing? Dirty plastic. I'm having a little bit of brain fog here, guys. I haven't eaten yet. I'm doing my morning fasting, and I've already done my exercise for the day, and now it's getting towards that time to eat. All right, now we also want to, well, I'll save this in an asset file, set it up as an asset file later, but that is pretty much the gist of it. So let's recap this whole thing here. We can close this guy out now, right in. And let's switch this back to 3D image, right? Oh, and I wanted to go back to imagery editor. All right, this is what the Southern Shadi had built. We had his principal BFD. He was multiplying this image to an RGB color. So it was basically, this is being like multiplied onto the color like we can do in Photoshop. Then that color slot is being piped over here. Ooh, sorry guys. This color slot is being piped over here to give us the option to change the color. Then from there, we got the roughness, which he adds into a hue saturation value node. And what that is doing, he's taking this map, and then with this is allowing us to, I guess, control the value, or in a sense, the power. Like in Octane, we have a power on this node. This node has no power setting. So how are you going to control the brightness and the darkness of this? And he's doing it using this hue saturation node. He's taking that value, popping it over here. That's giving us control to control that. For me, I just used the power slot, plugged it into there. Then we've got our normals, which I'm using RGB normal map. Again, you guys have to use this in cycles, but we just plug straight into the normal socket. Again, we need to control the power of that, and he's using that right here to control the strength of that. I just use the power, plug that into there. Then we want to take all of this and have it on this to be able to control its size and its scale. By taking that out, he adds this add node where he's just basically, I don't know exactly the math that's going on there, but add into there, and then you can control all of these, the scale in one easy go. I had to do a little bit different math on mine. I had to multiply those values by whatever this value was. The value was 1. Multiply 1 times 1 is 1, and then that allows me to have control of it. Now, if I wanted to offset that, I could change the value. I can make this 2 multiply by 1 or whatever. I can do the math and boom, okay. And then that's pretty much it. Then he groups everything into a nice tidy little node package, group node, and that's how it is. And then we come back over here to mine. This is our version. I'm gonna come over here and put that over here too. Let's minimize that. And this is all done. This is all done. Minimize all of these guys here like that. So I did the same thing. I'm multiplying that texture over the color. And again, I'm using grayscale to help me reduce memory on GPU usage, which is also a plus. And then again, the same thing here is into the roughness. And I can come in and minimize all this stuff up here. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Here's my normal map. We just plug straight into the normal. And then we're taking that power. We're plugging that also into our UV projection into our 3D. Actually, we probably could change the projection up on that too, but for now I'm just going to leave it. And then boom, we're doing a little bit of math. Here's our math node, our binary math node. We're taking all those values, multiplying them by 1, and then just for a little housekeeping, we're converting these 3 slots and breaking them down into 1 slot. We're taking the X, Y, and then boom, and we're putting them into here again, keeping that 1 value. I don't know, I probably could add that in there too, but whatever. It's working. So again, the rest will be fine tuning and tweaking. So boom, jump out, boom, Control Alt B, clear that render region, boom, jump in here, Q, grab that cube, kind of just throw that in there like that, and bada bing, bada boom, Z, easy peasy, 1 2 3 Z, and there it is. That's really cool, guys. I'm happy that we were able to rebuild this thing, and that's pretty much the end of it, right? Sweet. All right, so that's a wrap here. For those of you who, come on, let's kill my laptop. Okay, good. For those of you who stayed around, thanks. MDKN, if you're still there, thanks for jumping in and joining the whole thing. So we basically rebuilt that shader. This is basically